Welcome back. Today we are going to discuss more about your functions. In the previous videos, we have discussed about the parameters, the types of parameters, formals, and your actual parameters, your type of argument, that is your default, and your positional arguments. And today we are going to discuss about the parameters, how you pass the parameters of various type, that is immutable or your mutable type, like passing your list and passing a number variable. What will be the difference? So let us move forward and start discussing our topic. So immutable and mutable properties of passed objects. So this is an important point you must remember. As Python is little different from other language in terms of representing your variable. It's dynamic language. When you store any value to a variable, the variable takes the type of that value, the type of data of that value. So here the Python variables actually refer to the memory locations of the values. So the Python variables are like memory references, not like the storage containers. Means when you store something a equal to 10, so a becomes a container in some other language. When you change the value of a equal to a plus 2, so the value will be changed, address will remain same. But in your Python, various values have been assigned unique values. So when you assign the value in a variable, then the value refer to the address where that value is stored. So that we are going to discuss today. So memory address, it refers to the memory address where value is stored, and each value in Python is having a unique address that is called as ID. So when you change the value of the variable, actually the address changes, that is the ID changes. So types of data, so already we have discussed in the previous classes and chapters about the mutable and immutable type of data. Mutable means the values can be changed. So data types whose value can be changed. So how these values actually are changed means whether there is a facility to accommodate new values, like in the case of your list. Yes, so values can be changed, and the same memory address you can add more values. So you can decrease and increase the size also by inserting and deleting the values. So example, list and your dictionaries. But immutable data types like your basic fundamental types of data, that is your int, float, your boolean, or your string, or your tuple. All these types of data are actually immutable. That means the values cannot be modified. So whenever you change the value, actually you change the address. It changes the memory reference to the value it is being referring to. So these are some examples. So today we will be passing these kinds of values to the functions as the parameters. So starting with immutable data types. For example, when you use an integer or your float or maybe your boolean, for example 12 is an integral value which you store in a. So each value means 12 will have a unique address, that is an ID. So now a will 12 means a is referring to a memory location or a reference where 12 is stored. So when you change this value, for example you write a equal to 90, what happens? Means here 90 is having another address, so now the a refers to a new reference. So in this way, when you change the value, actually the address it refers changes, because value is having different addresses. In case of different other languages like C, C++, when you store a equal to 12, you change the value a to 90, the address remains the same, the value changes. Clear? So this is little change. So each value is accompanied by an ID. That means whenever you declare a variable, the variable can be presented with the help of two values. One, the address value, and the actual value, the data value actually. So here the 12 is the data value, and 12 is having a unique address, that is the ID. So a refers to this ID. Now when you change this, so 90 is having a new ID, so now a refers to this new ID. So in this way, when you change the value, the reference also changes. In case of mutable, where the value can be changed, like in case of your list, So list is different from this your normal integer in the sense that it is a collection of your variables of one or maybe different kind of data types enclosing square bracket. So right now list we are having two integral values, two integers as the element of list. So 12. So there are two kinds of address. One, you can say the entire address overall. You can say that actually list is having its own address, that is ID of L, that is 254678. But each value inside this, so this address basically will have a scope, and in this address scope you can say these values are declared, and from this memory space you can say ID have been assigned, are actually assigned. So ID of L0 is 11678, the value is 12 value is having this ID. Same way L1 will have another ID and representing another value. Clear? So there are two kind of address which we will be dealing with your like the sequence or your list. So now let us try to change the value of 12. So we want to change the value of 12 L0. L0 now have 67. Now 67 is having another ID. So now L0 will be referring to that ID only. So that means the address, the ID of L will not change, but what will change? The address of this L0 will change. So in this way the values are modified in case of a mutable data type. You can see the ID of L remains the same, whereas ID of L0 will change to new ID because 67 is having a new ID, whereas we haven't changed L1, so it will remain the same. This is the case of the elements present inside a list. Now what about the case when we want to assign a new list to a defined list? Let us see that. Here L is this list 12 and 15. Now the same example, ID of L is 254678. There are two values, and two values are having two different IDs, that is the elements. Now we are having another list L2. So L2 will have a new address, and in that new address scope there will be another 90 that is having a new address also of 90. Now this is the ID of L2, for example, this is the ID. Now L20 will have maybe any assigned ID. We are using this IDs, numeric IDs, but that does not mean in your system it will show this way only. So in the system you will have a new ID. Okay, these are simply a reference numbers which we are using. So 90 is having this ID. So this is the description of your list in terms of ID and the values. So now we are going to change the ID of L. That means we are changing the status of L. So L2 is assigned to L. That means now L and L2 will refer to the same ID, that is 21345. So both. So now L is now having the new ID. So new memory location it is having. So inside that you are having the element also. So it will get the new element also. So this previous will be, you can say, lost in terms of assignment. So in this way, so here in this case the ID of L has changed. In the previous case the L remains the same, but the ID of the element was changed. Clear? You got it? Now let us take example using functions. When you pass these immutable or mutable type of value to a function as a parameter. Now you can see that the coding is there. We are having this 92 a predefined value I have set. When you run the program you will get this 92. How? Let us see that. So this is function 1. A is a formal parameter. Now this function will do what? It will increase the value of A by 2. So the ID will be changed, this statement will be executed. So print A is changed to this A will 92. How it will come? Let us see. In the main segment means you are having a entire program, the program from where it is executed, or the code which is not present inside any function body can be said as the main segment. Clear? It's always better to write all these set of statements at the last and all the function at the above of this coding. A better readability will be there. Now B equal to 90. So that means 90 will have a ID that B refers to. When you display the value, it will have 90. When we call the function definition does not mean it will be executed all. It will be executed when this function will be called here. So b is argument of the actual parameter. Now this is passed to a. So now a equal to b. So b is now assigned to a. That means a and b both are having same id or same address, both are referring to. Now after this, we have changed the value of a, that is a plus 2. So when we increase the value of a, that is what? The id. A represents the id, and that id there is a value, that the value is 90. So 90 plus 2 is 92. So 92 will be displayed, and 92 is a value that will have another id. So the id of a is now changed in this function body. But the function scope is over when the calling is over. That means after that it comes to the main segment. So what we will have? So here the id of a has changed, the id of b hasn't changed. It remains the same. Clear? So the value of b before calling the function, after calling the function, remains the same. That is a 90 in both cases, both call. Here it changes. This is how a immutable type of value behaves when you pass in a function parameter. So this blue oval shape represents your global scope or global environment. The entire program can be divided into two environment, outer and the complete is your environment is global. So here the statement which you write, basically the variable will have its own one copy, and we change this copy, it will reflect to all the function, all the program. Now this is the statement of your main body, and b was assigned 90, then b still refers to 90 after calling. Let us call the function. When you call this function, what happens? A new environment, a local is created inside this global. Now in this local environment, the value of a has changed and the id of a has changed. Clear? But when you come back to your global, that means b still remains the same. So it does not changes. So it is before calling the function, and this is after calling the function, b remains the same. The id of b remains the same, b not changes. This is how immutable type of simple values or primitive values are passed, like your float, like your boolean, like your integer. So let us discuss about the mutable, like your mutable dictionary or your list. So focusing on your dictionary, not on dictionary, that is your list actually. So we are having a list here. The code look like this. The function body now a is a formal parameter, and here what you can see, now we have changed the element of this a. So a is a list actually. Now how? When you call this function, when you run this code, it will start from here. You can say L equal to 12 comma 15. Now the value will be displayed as what? 12 comma 15. When you have a call of function, L is assigned to a. Now a and L both are representing the same address, that is the list id. Now in this list, the first element a0 will also represent 12. The 12 plus 2 is 14. The address of a now has changed, and the value you can see also indirectly changed. Now you appended one more value at the end of the list. That means the status of list will become 14, 15 and 56 when you display. But this is what? Local environment. But in this local environment, what you can see is that the id of a and id of L remains the same inside and outside. We haven't changed the id of a. So that means the changes which you do inside the body of the function now can be reflected in the global environment also when you call the function after that function calling. So after the function call, the values of list are changed. So that means in case of mutable type of values passed to the function, the changes done in the function body are also reflected back to the function call area. Okay, nice. This is the case when the elements are changed. So this is the global environment. This is the value of the list before calling, and after calling the values are changed. id of the L remains the same, but inside the value have been changed. So because of this id, we haven't changed the id in the function body, so it points to the same address, so we will get the change value. Where this is the case, we are changing the value of the list, not the list id itself. Now let us focus again on this same example, but now we will be changing the id of the list. You can see almost similar. 1215 function, this is calling, this passing L and calling this function So let us see this. So when you call this function, before calling 12 and 15, as you call the function, L is passed to A, that means A and L both are referring to the same memory address. Clear? Now inside this function body we are having a new list represented by a K. So K will have a different ID. So when you assign the ID or the K to your A, that means you are changing the reference of A now. So the reference of A, the memory address of A now changes. If that changes, that means it will bring the new values, that is 70, 80. So that means A has been changed now. So inside this local environment, A has been changed. Clear? Now it stores 70, 50. Now that change reflected back to the outside of the function? No, because still this L is having the original ID. It hasn't been changed. It will refer to the same values before the function call it was referring. So there is no change. Clear? So passing and changing the value makes how the parameters will behave inside and outside your function body. Clear? So here we have changed the ID of the list. So a new ID of the list is there, new list is there for A. So new values will be there. Clear? Original will remain the same. Clear? Now A and L are having two different addresses. This is what you are passing your parameters of mutable and immutable. So let us do it practically and open your R Python and start writing some code. Let us create a new file. Small function def, okay, fine, the same coding func1 and A or S, anything like that. We use S in place of A, no problem. So S equal to S plus 2 or something like that, okay, 10. We're changing the value 10. Now printing this, clear, S barabar S. It's a message, fine. The function ends, the body of the function ends. Now this is your t equal to suppose 80. 80 is a global statement, that means it's a global variable, t equal to 80. Clear? Now let us display the value of this t before calling the function. So before calling the function it will display as 80. Now you call the function and pass this value of t to this function. So when you call this function and pass the value of t, that means t and s will refer to the same ID. Next we are changing s equal to s plus 10. Clear? So 80 will become 80 plus 10, that is 90. So 90 will have a different ID. So that means the ID of s has been changed. So it will refer to a new address, not to the address of t. Clear? So the changes which you do inside the function body now does not reflect back to the outside the function body. That means the value of t will remains, that is your 80. Clear? This is the case of your what? Mutable type. So let us save your program and execute. So what will get as an answer? Let us see. So saving your quickly, let us save it some name FRT. So a simple example, but the concept it can reflect. So what is the error? Syntax error. So opening bracket, nice. F5. So you get the answer. So now 80, 90, 80. So t equal to 80 means this. And when you call this function, it becomes 80 plus 10, 90. The address of s changes, clear? But again after that, the scope of function is over. The local variables have been destroyed. Now coming back to t again, the t address does not change, remains 80. So this is the case of immutable type. Clear? That means in case of your normal variables like int, float, boolean, when you pass the value, you change the value inside the function body. The changes are done in the function body itself, but these are not reflected back to the original value passed to the function. This is the summary. Now let us save and create the minor changes in this code, passing your mutable type of your values. So passing mutable, passing a list. So passing a list, so here let us change the t. Now let us make this 8,8t. So 8,8t is a list. Display the value, it will display 8,8t, that is 880. Now we call the function, but here when you add something to a list, it will display an error because vectorization is not done. That means you can say a broadcasting. It is known as broadcasting. When you add 10, it should add to all the elements. It is like that. So S is actually a container, that is the address of your list. So it will display an error. Clear? So we are changing now. What we are changing? We want to change the value of the first element. That is your S. Clear? So the change is done in the element of the list, not to the ID of the list, not to the address of the list. Clear? So when we call the function, t and s will have the same address, and inside the body the address of s hasn't been changed, but the address of element of inside the s has been changed. So now after the function call, that means t will have the same address as your s. So the changes will be reflected outside the function body also. This is the case of the mutable type of your data. Clear? So let us see the change. So what change you can see? So this is the list before function call. S means during function call. So 8 has been changed to 18. Now t also get the change value. So do you get the point? Because s and t is still having the same address. So inside this address, it's you can say a block of memories, and in this block you are having the set of various IDs, and that ID when changes, it is inside that entire memory space. Clear? So this is the case when element has been changed. You got the point? Now one more variation. Let us see the change when you pass a mutable value. So when you pass a mutable value, and what we do, we will now change the values of the list in terms of assigning a new list to the list. So now we will try to what? We'll do like this. Okay. So before that, let us have create a new. So p barabar, that is 9,78. So p is a new list. It is having a new ID. Clear? Now let us change your s to p. Yeah, the value of s, p will be assigned to s. That means when you do this, it is a bigger change. That means the entire list means of s now having a new status. So now s refers to p. That means 9,78. Now the address has been changed. So the change is done inside the function body. It will reflect back to this statement in the global? Yes or no? You can see it will not reflect, because the changes had been done here. The s has been changed, but t still refers to 8 and 80. So here 8,80 and here also 8,80, but in between function body you will get the change, that is 9,78. This is the case when you pass list, and when you want to change the list with another list, not changing the value, okay, of a single item. So see the change, you can see the first statement. The second one changes the local environment, but in the global environment it is not reflected because s and t are having two different addresses. So this is the case of what? An example reflecting your mutable and immutable. So let us take one more example, taking the case of your dictionary. So dictionary is also immutable. So what is dictionary? You all remember that? So let us quickly revise. and then you can see the change. So in case of your dictionary, suppose this key pair value, you know that. So A is the key, and this key is having what? N is another key, this. Okay. So in the dictionary there are two key value pairs. The values are 90 and 8. You can change the values IDs. You cannot change the IDs of keys. This is the case of your dictionary. Clear? Now what you want to do? You want to do what? Let us change your S. You can refer the value by the key also. Let us change 98. So we have changed the value of the key, that is 8. So 90 will become 98. 90 will become 98. Let us check this one first. So when you display this one, when you run this program, what happens? This is the dictionary, and when you call the function, the T and S will have the same address, same ID. But here the ID or the value of a single element has been changed. Means the ID of the dictionary hasn't been changed. That means S and T will remain the same address, having the same address. So the changes which you do inside that will reflect back outside also, like in the case of the list. So that you can see. So you can see that. Clear? So original values, this is the original starting value, function call, and the last. So the change has been done in the local environment, but it also reflects back to the global environment. Why? Because S and T having the same address, same memory address. So what are the value will be there in that memory address will be also seen by TNS port. Clear? So now let us little change in the dictionary. Now if what we want to do, if we will assign S to create, that is you are creating a new dictionary. Clear? And it is having 78 as a new value. So it means the ID of S is not changed. S and T at the start will have the same address, but because of this statement, the means it will have a new value. You got the point? So whether you write like this one in two statements, whether like that in the same statement, does not make a difference. So S equal to S1. So ID of S will now change in this local environment, but still T refers to the same original value. Clear? So in this case 98 you will get, in this case you will get L and 78. In this case the same original value 90 and 8 you will get. So let us have the execution. I hope you are getting all these things. So you can watch your videos more than one times and just try the practice in a system. You can see there. Clear? So the change has been done in the local environment, but hasn't returned back to the outside. Why? Because the address of S is now different and T is still the same address. So because of that, means the values are change, values are reflected back to the original one. So this is the case of your mutable parameters and immutable parameters when you pass in the function call. I hope you got the basic concept regarding that. So now this chapter is almost complete. Nothing is left in this chapter, but exercise and practice are required. That we will discuss. So the next video will focus on the exercises part of this chapter. So for today